beat it into place, it starts making fabric.
Look at the name.
And that when you toss it back, it comes back again. I'm unwinding it because I need to make the knots first. But that, and essentially, is what weaving is getting, is depositing thread and beating it into place to make the fabric. So
that's instead of the 1-point needle.
Yeah, this is over, under to lock in those threads. Needlepoint is fancy work, decorative work.
This is cutting. It comes from here. See this plant? That's how they make threads, which took so long to make a towel with this.
Yeah, and one of the things that we're using is a lot of wool, and the other thing we're using is a lot of flax. Flax is something, sometimes you see flaxseed in the supermarkets, and that it's good for you and healthy for you, but in the 18th century the flax seeds are actually crushed up and made into linseed oil for paint. And we, in a nutshell, rot the stems, smash them up, and rake it through that very, very strange looking harsh object called a hackle, and it combs the fibers out of the stems, and you wind up with this. That's flax.
What do you do with this?
Once it's spun, it's flax in your hands, and it's spun on the spinning wheel, and it becomes linen.
Huh.
And where you would wear cotton today in the 21st
Is it soft?
century, it's very soft. In fact, this is some canvas that hasn't been washed yet, and after it's washed, it feels like this.
Wow.
Big difference.
Wow. And it's all from that thing I remember.
It's all from a plant.
And I won't even pick it.
You know where shatnez comes from? Shatnez.
That's where it's come from?
Linen and wool, when you mix the two.
Yeah, and we call that Linsey-woolsey. And that's a very common fabric in the 18th century, all the way up through the 19th century. The linen supports the wool. Wool will wear a lot faster than linen. So when you put the two together, it just extends the life of the wool.
So that's how the cutting comes.
The other fiber that we use a great deal of is hemp, which I'm not allowed to grow anymore since it's modern marijuana. But the process is the same as with flax, and that you have to break the stems down to get it.
What is that plant called here?
Pishtan.
So, grows pretty well, but we're tobacco farmers. We wanted to have money, and that was a cash crop. And so we spent our time, and our slaves spent their times out making sure that that cash crop came in and was sent to England. 2 barrels, 2 big hogsheads would feed a family of 4 or 5 for a year. So it was very important to get that crop in so that you could feed your family. And so that the rest of the crops that we're raising are supplemental. And we're not seeing a whole lot of things changing until Eli Whitney patents the cotton gin, makes it so it's cost effective to raise cotton, and it replaces tobacco almost overnight. Not until the beginning of the next century though. And so we're using those fibers, and one fiber that we're wearing but we're not raising in great numbers is silk. It is because of the mulberry trees, the leaves that those little worms have to eat. We're either getting the wrong species. Well, they brought them over with them.
From China, right?
And the trees take a while to grow. They underestimate how much they eat. And it's so labor intensive to get the cocoon that these worms spin a cocoon of silk, and to process that cocoon to get enough to do anything with is pretty tedious. It's like working with a wet spider web, and it's very tedious.
You get it hot though. We actually saw it in BBC on China. And they show it's a whole women business, so they all spray together. It's probably a little bit more. It's more,
and they've been doing it for thousands of years, and then they've got it down pat. And it becomes more of a cottage or village industry. And here in the colonies, they're kind of into it, let's make money now. And that the silk, they're leaving to the folks that do it best. Even the cotton, the species in India, Egypt, India, and Turkey. In Turkey, there you go. It's Egyptian cotton, which has very few seeds in it. They slip right out. You don't have to pluck them, and the fiber length is very, very long. So they can process the cotton a lot quicker and faster. And so we're getting our majority of our cotton fabric from that area. And when you go to the store here in the Colony and look at fabric, cotton and silk are your most expensive. In fact, cotton's more expensive than silk half the time. And a lot of it is the fact that where the exports are coming out of Egypt, Turkey, and India, you're having tons of pirates that are capturing ships, and they have to pass on those losses to the consumer. And so that's what's driving up the cost. So if I saw you in a pretty cotton suit or a cotton gown, I knew you all had a little bit of money. So what you wear is kind of a reflection of who you are and what your station is.
Why don't you see anyone wearing these bright colors?
Oh, you will.
Oh, you do?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, yep, because I'm wearing purple. And Sandy,
Basically,
she's working today, so
Yeah.
that's her
Okay.
working clothes.
I thought we were gonna work on the fire, so I'm.
You're underdressed.
Uh-huh.
But there's lots of folks that are
This is beautiful.
around town that
Wearing the
use
bright color?
pretty
Oh,
bright
make a
colors.
pretty scarf.
That's called space dyed,
Do you know how that's how they live now, scarves?
and
So in the south.
we're going to be weaving with that actually. Eventually, I don't know if you can see it down here on the bottom of the loom. This fabric right here. When you have a piece of yarn that's variegated, it'll make a pattern using color as opposed to making pattern using a weaving structure. So it's kind of a cheap way of achieving a pattern.
Probably more unique too. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's random.
Yep. So we're going to do this is kind of a butterscotch, and we're going to do a purple, we're going to do a pink, we're going to do a green, and we're going to do a blue. So we're going to have different blankets with different colors in them. So that'll be kind of
Do you
fun.
sell those?
At Prentice Store, we have some for sale, but it's never the same day twice down there because we just kind of send our leftovers down. And so we had, there's a couple of blankets maybe down there, and some towels and some other things, yarn and so forth that we've dyed. So we invite you to pick up anything along the rail if you have questions in specific about anything, and it's more of a conversation. So I'd like to know what y'all are interested in.
Questions?
Thank you.
Maybe trying.